The bus doors hissed shut behind 72-year-old Arthur Wilkins as he stumbled backward off the steps, his worn canvas messenger bag clutching tight to his chest. The concrete trash bin caught him square in the back of his head, with a sickening thud that echoed off the grimy storefront windows. Cell phones appeared instantly, a dozen screens capturing his collapse as the MTA bus pulled away with a diesel belch, leaving him sprawled on the cracked sidewalk of East 149th Street. Damn, that old man got rocked. Someone laughed behind a camera. Arthur pushed himself up slowly, his weathered hands shaking as blood trickled from a gash above his left ear. The messenger bag had spilled open, scattering photographs and yellowed letters across the dirty pavement. He scrambled to collect them, his movements frantic and confused. "You okay, Pops?" A teenage girl stepped closer, but her friend pulled her back. "Don't touch him, Maria. Look at him." Arthur's clothes hung loose on his diminished frame. A faded army jacket over a stained white t-shirt. Khaki pants that had seen better decades. His gray hair stuck out in wild tufts, and his eyes darted around the gathering crowd with the look of a cornered animal. I need to get to the VA," he mumbled, stuffing papers back into his bag. "My appointment. They're expecting me." The bus driver, a heavy-set man named Rodriguez, had watched the scene unfold in his side mirror. He'd seen this kind of thing before: homeless veterans, mentally ill passengers, people who rode the buses all day because they had nowhere else to go. This old man had been muttering to himself for the past 6 stops, and the smell. Rodriguez had complaints from other passengers. Hey, you!" A woman in a business suit had stood up 3 stops earlier. "Driver, this man is talking to himself. It's disturbing everyone." "Ma'am, I'll handle it." "Handle it now. My kids are on this bus." Rodriguez had glanced in his mirror at Arthur, who was whispering to a photograph. "Sir, you're gonna need to keep it down back there." I'm talking to my son," Arthur had said, confused. "We have an appointment." "There's nobody there, old man," the woman snapped. "You're scaring people." "Sorry, old-timer," Rodriguez finally said as Arthur approached the front of the bus at the previous stop. "You're gonna have to get some fresh air." "But I have a ticket," Arthur had protested, holding up a crumpled transfer slip. "I paid my fare. I'm a veteran. I served my country. Look, I don't make the rules. Can't have you disturbing other passengers." "Please, my son needs me. He's waiting." "Get off the bus, sir. Now." "But where? Where am I supposed to go?" "That's not my problem." Now Arthur sat on the bus stop bench, pressing a dirty tissue to his bleeding scalp. The crowd had mostly dispersed, moving on to their own business, leaving him alone with his scattered belongings. He opened his bag again and carefully removed a small wooden box, no bigger than a book. Inside was a folded American flag, a purple heart medal, and a photograph of a young soldier in desert camouflage. "Danny boy," Arthur whispered to the photograph. "We're going to be late for your appointment." A woman waiting for the next bus moved to the far end of the bench, eyeing Arthur nervously. She pulled out her phone and dialed 911. "Hi, I'm at the bus stop on 149th and... yeah, there's this crazy homeless guy here. He's talking to himself and... I think he might have a weapon or something. He keeps reaching into his bag." "Ma'am, can you describe the individual?" "Old, maybe 70s. Dirty clothes, army jacket. He's got some kind of box and he's talking to it like there's someone in there." "Has he threatened anyone directly?" "Well, no, but... look, he's clearly not right in the head. He was just thrown off a bus. People are filming him. This is a busy area with kids around. We'll send someone to check it out." Arthur continued his one-sided conversation with the photograph, completely unaware of the call being made 20 feet away. The traffic's bad today, Danny boy. But we'll make it. Dr. Peterson said the new treatment might help with your nightmares. Unit 23, respond to possible 1054 at East 149th and 3rd Avenue. Caller reports male, elderly, possibly armed, exhibiting erratic behavior. Chen knew this neighborhood well. Lots of homeless, lots of drug activity, lots of calls that could go sideways fast. She'd been on the force for 8 years, long enough to know that elderly and erratic could mean anything from dementia to mental illness to someone high on God knows what. But as she pulled up to the bus stop, something about the old man sitting alone on the bench made her pause. There was something familiar about his posture, the way he held himself despite his disheveled appearance. "Sir, I'm Officer Chen. Someone called about a disturbance here. You doing okay?" Arthur looked up, his eyes focusing with difficulty. "Officer? Yes, ma'am. Just waiting for the bus. Got to get to the VA for my boy's appointment." "What's your name, sir?" "Arthur Wilkins. Sergeant Arthur Wilkins, 1st Infantry Division." His voice strengthened as he gave his rank and unit. "Served 2 tours in Vietnam, 68 to 70. Chen noticed the Purple Heart visible in the small box Arthur held. Her grandfather had served in Korea, carried the same quiet dignity even in his final years, when Alzheimer's took most of his memories. Chen's radio crackled. "Unit 23, what's your status on that 1054? She keyed her radio. "Still assessing. Appears to be a non-issue." "Copy that. We've got additional calls coming in about the same location. Caller says subject was making threats, possibly has a knife." "Threats?" Chen looked at Arthur more carefully. "Sir, were you having words with anyone today?" "Words? No, ma'am. Just talking to my Danny. He gets nervous before his appointments." "Danny?" Arthur held up the photograph. "My son, he's a good soldier. Sometimes the memories get to him, you know. From Iraq." "Mr. Wilkins, I don't see anyone else here with you." Arthur looked confused, glancing around the empty bench. He was just here. Maybe he went to get us coffee?" Chen's radio crackled again. "Unit 23, we need you to secure any weapons. Multiple callers reporting subject has a knife." Arthur's hand moved instinctively to his jacket pocket, where the outline of a small folding knife was visible. Chen noticed the movement, and her hand drifted toward her weapon. "Sir, what do you have in your pocket there?" It's just my utility knife. Had it since the war. Danny gave it to me before his last deployment. Said every soldier needs a good knife." "Danny gave it to you?" "Yes, ma'am. Right before he shipped out to Iraq. Said, 'Dad, you keep this safe for me. A soldier's knife is important.'" "Okay, sir. Can you show me the knife? Nice and slow." Arthur pulled out a worn Swiss Army knife, the red plastic faded to pink. Danny said I should always carry it, for emergencies." "That's a fine knife, Mr. Wilkins. When did Danny give this to you?" "Before his deployment. He was so proud getting his orders. Said he was going to make me proud, just like I did in Vietnam." Chen relaxed slightly. The knife was old, obviously well used, but not threatening. Still, protocol was protocol, especially with multiple callers reporting the same incident. "Mr. Wilkins, I'm going to need you to put the knife on the bench here, okay? Just while we talk." "But Danny said—" Arthur's voice became agitated. "He said never let go of it. He said—" "Who's Danny, sir?" Arthur held up the photograph from his bag. "My boy. He's a soldier too. Good soldier. Purple Heart, just like his old man." Chen looked at the photo. Desert camouflage, young face, the same eyes as the old man in front of her. Something clicked in her memory. 8 years on the force, but before that, 4 years in the army. She'd served in Iraq, knew that uniform, knew that look. Mr. Wilkins, when did Danny serve? He's still serving. We're going to his appointment at the VA today. He's been having some problems since he got back from Iraq. Chen felt a chill. Sir, what year do you think it is? Arthur paused, confused. It's 2004. No, wait. Danny just got back from his second tour, so it's Isanyug? Mr. Wilkins, it's 2024. It's been 18 years since 2006. Arthur stared at her, his face cycling through confusion, recognition, and profound sadness. The knife fell from his hands, clattering onto the concrete. He's gone, isn't he? Arthur's voice was barely a whisper. My Danny boy is gone. Chen knelt down beside the bench. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. The doctors say I have. They say my mind isn't working right anymore. But sometimes I wake up and I think he's still here. I think we're going to the VA together, like we used to. How long have you been carrying Danny's knife, sir? Since he gave it to me. Or maybe since they gave me his things. I can't remember which came first anymore. More police cars arrived, their lights flashing. Chen stood and waved them off, keying her radio. Unit 23, situation is under control. Subject is a veteran experiencing confusion due to medical condition. No threat present. But Sergeant Mills approached anyway, his hand on his weapon. Chen, what's the situation here? Sir, this is Arthur Wilkins, decorated Vietnam veteran. He's experiencing some confusion. Is that the knife? Mills pointed at the Swiss Army knife on the ground. Yes, sir, but... And he was threatening people with it. Arthur looked up at Mills, his eyes suddenly sharp. I never threatened anyone, son. I'm a United States soldier. We don't threaten civilians. You're not a soldier anymore, old man. You're just some crazy homeless guy waving a knife around. Chen stepped between them. Sergeant, that's enough. Is it, Chen? Because I've got 3 different 911 calls saying this guy was acting aggressive and making threats. I was talking to my son, Arthur said quietly. Just talking to my Danny. Your son who isn't here? Sometimes I forget he's not here. But the damage was already done. The initial 911 calls had been recorded. The video of Arthur being pushed off the bus was already circulating on social media. Someone had live-streamed the police response, and within hours, the hashtag #, veteran abuse, was trending. The next morning, Arthur woke up in a VA psych ward, his memories of the previous day fragmented and unclear. A social worker named Mrs. Patterson sat beside his bed with a thick file. Mr. Wilkins, we need to talk about your living situation. The incident yesterday has raised some concerns about your safety. What incident? You were found confused at a bus stop. You had a knife, and there were some misunderstandings with other people. Arthur looked puzzled. I don't remember that. That's part of the problem, sir. You've been diagnosed with early-stage dementia. The doctor wants to see you. Dr. Martinez entered the room, a clipboard in his hands. Mr. Wilkins, I'm Dr. Martinez. Do you remember me? Should I? We've met several times. I've been treating you for memory issues. Can you tell me what year it is? Arthur thought hard. 2006, 2007. Danny just got back from Iraq. Mr. Wilkins, Danny died in Iraq in 2007. We've discussed this many times. No, that's not right. We had an appointment yesterday. At the VA, Dr. Martinez looked at Mrs. Patterson. He's been living alone, hasn't he? Yes, doctor. Neighbors called us twice in the past month. Once he was found wandering at 3 a.m. looking for his son. Another time he called 911 because he thought intruders were in his apartment. I wasn't confused, Arthur protested. I heard voices. Someone was talking to Danny. Mr. Wilkins, Dr. Martinez said gently, you can't live alone anymore. We need to discuss assisted living options. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to go home. Danny's waiting for me. Mrs. Patterson opened her file. Sir, Danny's been gone for 17 years. You've been carrying his personal effects all this time. On the television mounted in the corner, a news report was playing with the sound turned low. Arthur could see footage of himself sitting on the bus stop bench, surrounded by police cars. The chyron read, Homeless veteran threatened with knife. Police respond. That's not what happened, Arthur said quietly. Mrs. Patterson looked at the screen and sighed. No, sir, it's not. But that's what people are seeing. The story had taken on a life of its own online. Half the comments condemned the police for overreacting to a harmless old man. The other half criticized them for not taking the knife threat seriously enough. Nobody seemed interested in the complicated truth that Arthur was a decorated veteran losing his mind to dementia, carrying his dead son's knife because it was the only connection he had left to memories he couldn't trust. By the third day, the story had reached national news. Protesters gathered outside the police station demanding justice for Arthur. Counter-protesters demanded better mental health screening for public transportation. Politicians gave statements about veteran care and police reform. Everyone had an opinion about what the incident meant for America.